everyone. Welcome to our live chat today with USA Today best-selling author Sarah Morgan. We're here to get the scoop on her new release, First Time in Forever, which is book 1 in her Puffin Island series. Thank you so much for joining us today, Sarah.
It's great to be here, and I'm in the UK,
yes.
So that's why I'm in the dark and you're in the light.
Right, yep. We're on different zones, but we are so close right now. I feel like you're in the other room. It's crazy. So before we begin, I wanted to let our viewers know that we're giving away a beautiful bag full of Sarah's favorite things. So stop by BookTrib.com after the live chat and enter to win. There's some great things in there. I saw her list, so I'm in the know about what's in there. Good, fun stuff. So Sarah, before we start the questions and answers, can you tell us a little bit more about First Time in Forever?
Yes, well, this is the first book in my new series, Puffin Island. And I wanted to write about a friendship. The core that follows through all 3 books is friendship, really. These 3 girls, the 3 heroines, have been friends since college. And in First Time in Forever, it's Emily's story, and she's been living this safe, small life in her comfort zone. She doesn't want love or any of those big emotions because something happened in her past when she was very young, and she just wants to cut that out of her life. But then she's made guardian to her half-sister's child, and suddenly all that's blown out of the water. So this safe little world that she's created vanishes, really.
Right.
Suddenly she's responsible for a 6-year-old child. She isn't sure that she's up to the job. She takes the child to Castaway Cottage on Puffin Island, which is somewhere that she's always gone with her friends, where she feels safe, because she thinks that that's the best place for the child. She's always putting Lizzie first. And there she meets super sexy yacht club owner Ryan, and he's determined to get to know her better, and he knows she's got secrets, and Emily's determined to keep those secrets, and he's determined that she's not going to keep them, and he wants to help her. You know, he's a really good guy. He wants to help her. So together, gradually their relationship moves on, and it's about courage, really, because she's pushed out of her comfort zone. She's suddenly doing all the things that she's resisted for all those years. Yeah, it's about courage and love. And friendship.
Awesome. Yeah, friendship definitely plays a central theme in the books, and it flows through all 3 books. So Taylor wants to know, you know, in the 3 books, how important is friendship just overall in the life of these girls?
Oh, it's hugely important. It's the thing that anchors them. It's the one solid, dependable thing in their lives. And I mean, they're very different girls, and they've all gone off and done different things, so they're not in each other's pockets, but they're always there for each other. And I think they have the sort of friendship that all of us would want, really. Absolutely. They really do. They have the perfect friendship.
Now, Taylor has another question that I think is interesting, because you're writing 3 books in the series. So she wants to know, how did you choose the order of which character would be written about first?
Well, I've had Emily's story in my head for a long time. It wasn't in the form of 1 or 3 friends, but I knew that I wanted to write that story about courage and being challenged and kind of having everything that you've never wanted thrown into your lap. So when I was putting together the idea for the series, I started with Emily's story, and then I realized that I wanted this friendship to be the backbone of the 3 books, really. But still, I wanted to start with Emily's story, and then at second was Brittany, because Brittany really is the anchor character. It's her cottage. Castaway Cottage is her cottage, and that's the place where they all used to go when they were in college, and that's been their kind of sanctuary, somewhere that they go when life's tough, when life's difficult. It's an escape. It's a bolt hole that we'd all love, really. And then, my final book, the Christmas book, which will be Skylar. Guy's the 3rd character, but she appears in, all the characters are in all the books, because obviously that's what friendship is.
Brings them all together. Now, as we said, there's 3 books planned for the Puffin Island series, and First Time in Forever is the one that we are discussing today, the opening book. What inspired this series? Was there anything that you kind of drew inspiration from?
Well, I'd written a series based in Vermont, in the mountains. It was very snowy. 2 out of 3 of the books were set at Christmas, so it was a very snowy series. And I just decided that I wanted to do something completely different, and I wanted a beach theme. So yeah, so I just decided that I wanted beach, and from there the island. I wanted an island because I thought it would give somewhere. I wanted somewhere that they could escape to, and the island gives that nice feeling.
Right.
So yeah, so it came from there really. And then, as I say, Emily's story. I'd had Emily's story in my head for a while, so I just married it all together.
And puffins are another central theme. What about the puffin? Why did you choose that bird? I mean, it's the most adorable bird I've ever seen.
It is. Well, puffins have been reintroduced to Maine. They're not endangered species, but they died out in Maine overfishing and things. And I was just doing my research on the island and what I was going to call the island. And then I just decided that would be good. I've seen puffins in the north of England, never seen them in Maine, got to be honest, but I've seen them in the north of England.
Yeah.
And I just decided that Puffin Island would be great. And of course, they don't actually live on the island because the puffins wouldn't appreciate the humans. They live on a rock, north of the island.
They're smart. They stay away from the craziness.
Yeah, they know better.
Yeah, right. Now, I also think it's great that, it's seaside and it's a small island. Do you think that this adds kind of more to, like, the small town allure in romance stories and how everyone knows something about the other person? Do you think that it was easier to kind of get the other characters involved in each other?
Yeah, because you are essentially trapped on a small island, but it also really backed into Emily's story, because Emily really wants privacy. She's kind of shut herself away. That's what she does. She's in her small little world, and she arrives on Puffin Island thinking that nobody will follow her there, that it's remote, because there are some people looking for the child, because her stepsister was an actress.
Yeah.
So they are sort of trying to track Lizzie down. She thinks that she'll be safe there, but of course Puffin Island, you can't be a hermit there, because the islanders know absolutely everything. If you sneeze, they know, and they know what you ate for dinner. So it's kind of the wrong place for a girl who really wants to be anonymous. You can't be anonymous on Puffin Island, but of course that ultimately is one of the things that brings Emily out of her shell. And at the end, that very community spirit is what helps her actually.
Absolutely. Sandra has a question. She wants to know, what do you work on more in the beginning of your story? Is it the storyline or the characters? You kind of get an idea for characters first?
It's definitely the characters. It's definitely the characters for me. I'm not much of a plotter, sadly. I'm what they call a pantser, which means I sit down at the computer and hope. So for me, it's all about the characters, and the people, and a what-if situation. You think about the characters, and then you think, what if this happened? How would they cope with that?
Right.
In Emily's case, it's how will she cope with everything she never wanted to happen happening to her?
Yeah.
And so it's all about the character. Yeah.
I think your characters are so richly drawn, and all the settings and the names of the places are just they're just idyllic and perfect, and I love all of the names. Yeah, it's just so nice and heartwarming. And I wonder, how is it different in like the Vermont stories? How did you kind of find? Because did you live by the coast, like where you live now? Do you have any inspiration living by?
No. I live near London. But we go to the beach. I love the beach, and I love the mountains. So I guess I've always set my books in the two places that I love. I'm not sure that I'd want to live in either of those two places. I quite like being near the city, but I love visiting the mountains and I love visiting the sea. So I suppose that's my way of having a mini holiday when I'm working.
Right.
I always set my books somewhere I'd like to be.
Now, how do you come up with the names for the cottage and the island? Do you find them somewhere? Do you kind of, do an anagram? What's the process like?
Yeah, I do. I did a lot of scribbling for Puffin Island. And in fact, it was quite funny with Puffin Island, because I was playing around with some ideas, and I rang my editor and I said, what do you think about Shipwreck Island? And she said, oh, no, that's dark and scary and I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, how about Puffin Island? She said, oh yeah, I'd buy a ticket there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I had a little list and I'd been playing. And so it's just about the emotion it evokes, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, does it feel dark and scary?
Right.
Are you trying to follow in the footsteps of Stephen King?
Yeah.
Or are you trying to write a nice, warm, contemporary romance
Right, exactly.
that people aren't going to have to read with the lights on?
Yeah. I do like
So,
Shipwreck Island, but maybe not for this story, but I do like that.
no, I'll save that for my thriller.
Yeah. Thriller, mystery, romance. That could work.
Yeah, that one.
Now, Bren wants to know how much of your input went into the cover design. What kind of say do you have in that process?
Oh, it's very collaborative. So both so starting with the US, the art department will send us their early ideas.
Mm-hmm.
My agent and I, and then we'll just feedback. Feedback our thoughts. But you know, I think they're great covers, and usually they're very close because the art department are fantastic, and they work very hard to kind of reflect the book and get that nice beachy feel.
Yeah.
And same with the UK. The UK cover.
Yeah. I love it.
The UK they're always illustrative. It's just a different style, different country style. They always have illustrative rather than photographic.
Right.
So again, we're just trying to reflect the feel of the island, and they'll send my agent and I early drawings, and you know, we'll all feedback our ideas, and my editor will feedback her ideas, and then eventually we all come up with something that we think's great.
Yeah. Now this is a new book, so you have the UK and the US version. Have any of your past books been published in other countries, and what are those covers like?
Yeah. I don't have any with me because I'm in this rented. We're having construction work, so I'm not actually in my house. But so Sleigh Bells. So basically, the European countries are a year behind. So this December they were publishing Sleigh Bells, which was the first of my O'Neill brother trilogy. And yeah, it's fascinating because I've had about 12 different covers, and the French one, I'm going to Paris on Saturday to sign that one. The French one is very glittery and pretty. The Australians took the American cover but did a slightly bigger version. The Scandinavian ones were really pretty, tiny little foil hearts. Yeah, they're really pretty.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I put lots of them up on my Facebook page as they were coming out because it was quite fun for readers to see all the different ones. The Italian one was lovely, very romantic.
Oh, nice.
Couple in silhouette.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, Bren just, she asked a question. She said, your book covers for First Time and Forever differ drastically from the UK and US edition. Is there a reason why the UK version is more beachy and artistic and the US one draws on romance and happiness? That's an interesting...
Yeah, I mean, it's the market. You know, we don't have... the US covers are photographic, really. They're photographic. And we don't, in the UK, it's more common to have illustrative covers. So presumably, I'm trying to get that on the camera.
Yeah.
Presumably, that's what people pick up off the shelf. You know, it depends on different readers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's just different styles in different countries and what appeals to different readers.
Exactly. This is a couple with ice cream on a dock, and there's a seagull behind them, and I don't trust that seagull. He's trying to get the ice cream. That's what I'm thinking. No, he's going.
I would eat that ice cream before he gets in there.
Diving in. Shelley has a question about movies. What are some movies you've recently seen, or if you don't get to go to the movies, any books that you've read lately that have inspired you?
Do you know, I love the movies. In fact, that is probably my number one way of relaxing, really. I mean, I do love reading as well, but just to go to the movie, I find it very, completely encompassing, and it takes my mind off everything. But I've been working too hard lately, so I haven't been. I did see The Imitation Game.
I wanted to see
but apart from that, I have not been.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We visit Bletchley Park, which is not very far from us, which is where the Code Breakers were and where it was based.
Right.
So, it's quite fun to see that. And they had an exhibition. So I've seen that. But normally I do go to the movies quite a lot, but actually I haven't lately. But I do watch movies at home and series. And I find that really relaxing. I like studying craft of movies and series as much as I do books, actually. So we just watched the next season of House of Cards. I'm addicted to that. And the writing's so good.
It is. Kevin Spacey is brilliant too.
He is. He really is. He really is. particularly because you don't actually like any of the characters, and I'm still watching,
Yeah.
which isn't like me. Normally, if it's a book with really nasty characters and I don't really care what happens to any of them, I
Yeah,
probably
right.
won't finish it. It's very unusual for me to carry on being addicted to something when I don't really care what happens to any of them.
Exactly. I feel the same way. Sandra brings up, because you were just talking about, the craft, the series of the craft of the series in a film, and she wants to know, is the writing process for you different if you're writing for a series versus a standalone novel? Do you prefer one or the other, or do you kind of enjoy both?
Oh, enjoy both. I enjoy both. And I've written some novellas too. I've written the Cosmo novellas, which are shorter. No, I enjoy it. I enjoy the variety. Is the writing process different? No, I don't think it is really, because it's still about the characters and their journey. Obviously, with the single titles, the longer books, like First Time and Forever, it's more of a wide-angle lens, so you're looking at a whole community and how a character relates to everyone around them. Whereas in the series books, it's very much a close-up snapshot of the hero and heroine and their relationship. There's no room for anything wider, simply in the word count. It's not that there are any rules or regulations, it's just that there's no room in the word count. You've only got, a certain, quite a thin book. You have to focus on the relationship. So I do like mixing it up, but I do like writing the longer books. Yeah, because I'm interested in the way that people interact with each other and how that, changes their relationships and what that shows about them, really.
Yeah. Louisa wants to know, what's the initial attraction between Emily and Ryan? Why do you think they end up together?
Well, I think to begin with, Ryan's doing a favour for a friend because Brittany asks him to check on Emily. It's as simple as that, and he's doing her a favour because she once shot an arrow into his butt, and he thinks that might happen again if he doesn't do it. So it's all about duty for the first 3 seconds, and then he's intrigued by her because he can see she's got secrets and she's very closed down, and he's the sort of guy that is interested and he wants to know. He wants to know what she's hiding, and he finds it attractive. And he's not the sort of guy that takes no very easily. So he can see she's struggling, and he's kind. So I think for him, as their relationship progresses, he likes her sense of responsibility and how hard she's trying, even though this is the hardest thing in the world for her. She's taking it very seriously, and I think he really respects that. And for her, I think he represents everything she's a bit scared of, really, because she's been living this safe, small life, and he's this very big, sexy guy, and he's not letting her hide, really. And I think, although that's a bit scary, it's also attractive because he's not letting her live in her shell, and that's nice. So I guess it's strength as well, and his competence, because he's actually, very, very competent at a lot of things. And I think that she doesn't feel very confident when she first is given responsibility for a 6-year-old. So she's quite pleased to lean on somebody with more expertise.
Yeah. Now, Taylor has an interesting comment. She says, would you say that overcoming fear is another theme of the book, which you were kind of going into just now? And she says Emily is afraid of the ocean, and she has to go out of her comfort zone. So I think it is interesting that Emily is afraid of the ocean, and overcoming fear is just another theme. What can you kind of elaborate on that?
Yeah, no, it definitely is. It definitely is about overcoming fear and courage, and how that really restricts your life. I always think about that Eleanor Roosevelt quote where she said, and I won't get this completely right, but something like, a woman's like a tea bag, you don't know how strong she is until you put her in hot water. And I always think that's a bit like Emily in this book. It's definitely about fear. And without this incident, would she have just carried on living her life, in that way, or without suddenly finding herself responsible for the child? Would she have ever come out of herself as she does?
Right. Now, when you were developing the characters, I just thought of this question. Did you always know that you wanted the 6-year-old involved, or was that something you started writing and you said, oh, I'll add her in, or was she always a part of it? I think it adds a nice dynamic to the story.
She was always a part. Yeah, she was always a part of it. This book's been in my head for a while, and it was always about suddenly finding yourself responsible for a child when that's the last thing you wanted. But because of the way you're made, and she can't say no to that. She has to take it on, and she takes it on with all seriousness and responsibility, but it's very, very hard for her.
Now, Raven has a question about another book of yours, A Night of Scandal, and she says that the book was part of the Notorious Wolf series, if anyone isn't aware. And each book was written by a different author. So Raven says, what challenges did you face while writing a book in a series with so many different authors?
Yeah, well, it is a challenge because obviously you can't just write your own story and then forget about it. Your story has to fit with other characters. So the authors do work together, not necessarily, I can't remember exactly how many, it's probably 8 books in that series. And we certainly did all talk together, but the people that mostly I talked to would have been the ones whose characters appeared in my book. But because that was the first book, I did have a little bit of everybody's character appearing in my book because you're setting up the next. So yes, it is different and it is challenging, but it's fun. It's fun. I had a lot of fun with that book.
Now I always,
Nathaniel, my film star.
Now I always ask authors, kind of what they're doing in the future, like book signings or, writers conferences. Do you come to the U.S. for any conferences, or is there, any fun ones in the U.K. that you could tell us about?
Yeah, actually, I'm not doing any in the UK. I'm going to the Paris Book Fair on Saturday, so I'm signing at the Paris Book Fair. If anybody happens to be in Paris on Saturday, I'll be there. And then I'll be at RWA in July. I always go to RWA, so I'll be signing there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It sounds like so much fun. Every time I talk to an author about the stuff they're going to be doing, it's just awesome. I'm jealous. Bridget has a question about the relationship between Emily, Skylar, and Brittany. She says, what's one major similarity between the 3 friends and one difference?
Oh, okay. Well, the similarity is that they're all very loyal and friendship's really important to them. So, yes, that's what they bond on because their personalities are actually all quite different. They're not at all similar, but their friendship really, really works. So that's how they're similar and how they're different. Well, Emily's the quiet one, probably, quiet, reserved. Brittany's probably the kick-ass one, and Skylar's the bubbly, fun. Yeah, she's the artistic one. So they are really, really different, but they're bonded together by this loyalty, really, and the fact they really like each other and they want the best for each other, as friends should.
We have a new question from Angela Simmons, and she says, do you have a favorite character from the Puffin Island series, or one that was the easiest for you to write, that was most relatable? I know people ask you have favorite characters, but I don't really. You're like, they're all my favorite.
Because they're all, they are. And your favourite's usually the one you are writing now, because they're the characters that you're with and focusing on and spending every day with. No, I love them all equally. Yeah,
no, I understand.
I do, but I love them all for different reasons. Yeah, I do.
They're all
I think Emily's very brave.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. I think Brittany's a lot of fun. I think Skylar's a lot of fun. Yeah. And I think the heroes are all yummy.
Absolutely.
Yummy.
Now, where did you pull the title from? What's the significance of First Time and Forever? Was that the first title that you came up with, or was it changed?
Yeah, well, that was obviously a joint thing with my publisher, but they felt that was very appropriate for Emily because almost all the things she's doing in the book is for the first time, which is true. Yeah. So it's actually quite an appropriate. Quite an appropriate title because she's doing everything that she's always said she wouldn't do. So it is First Time in Forever.
Yeah. Julie just sent in a question. Julie Williams. Hi, Julie. I think she just popped in, so she wants to know, are we going to be treated to a Christmas book this year, which you did mention before, but just in case you didn't hear. Anything coming up?
Absolutely. Of course, Julie. When would I have you without a Christmas book?
Yeah, right?
Skylar's story is Christmas. Yeah, and I'm just finishing it now. So there's lots of tinsel and glitter and pine trees in my life, even though we're going into spring.
Right.
That's Christmas Ever After, although I'm not absolutely sure what the US title is, but Christmas Ever After, and that's Skylar's story.
Awesome. Things to look forward to. Kristen wants to know, what are some activities that you like to do when you're not on a writing deadline?
Oh, I'm
You're like,
always
I don't
on a
remember the
writing
last
deadline.
time.
I know, I don't know how this happened to me, but I'm always on a writing deadline. No, I do sometimes close my laptop, and I do love to read. I do love to read, and yeah, I watch TV and flop and spend some time with my family. And
Right.
because writing's a very indoor job, I like to
Exactly.
get outdoors whenever I can. Otherwise, I'm just turning into a mole who never sees the light of day.
Exactly.
So yeah, I like to get out. And when the weather's nice, I go out on my mountain bike or I'll go hiking.
Nice.
I don't do that much when it's rainy and muddy, but I do it when it's sunny.
Yeah.
I'm a fair weather exerciser.
Exactly. Me too.
Yeah, I like seeing friends. I like seeing friends.
Yeah.
I like meeting up with friends, and yeah.
Can you tell us about your garden office? It sounds so nice.
Yeah, I have this wonderful garden office, which actually I wouldn't have been able to film from anyway because I don't have internet. Because that's how I get my work done.
Internet free zone.
If I had internet, yeah, if I had
Brilliant.
internet, I'm always tempted. I have no willpower. So yeah, last summer we built this little office in the garden. It's really sweet. There are some pictures online actually,
Oh,
so if
cool.
people were interested, they could have a little look on my website. There's some pictures of my garden office.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's really cute. So I'm the only one with a key, so nobody can let themselves in there. Yeah, it's very comfortable and it's great. It's my own space, so I don't have to clear it up and I can leave my notes everywhere, which by the end of a book, I've got hundreds and hundreds of post-it notes everywhere and I don't throw anything away till it's finished. So,
Oh, that's amazing.
yeah, that you can imagine what that used to look like before I had my own office.
It's your own secret garden. That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's great. Yeah, it is. Last week I had, well, before I moved out because of our building work, I had this robin building a nest just right outside.
Aww.
So I was watching him jumping. That's right. It's really nice actually being in the garden.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Shelley wants to know what authors inspire you and who are some of your favorite authors to read?
oh. I hate this question too because it does depend on the mood.
It does.
I don't. I mean, I love Nora Roberts. I do love Nora
Yeah.
Roberts, and actually, she inspires me too because her work ethic, obviously is amazing, and she has so many sensible things to say that all of us authors hang on to and quote and stick on our laptops.
Yeah.
I love Sarah Addison Allen.
Yes.
The Peach Keeper. That's one of my favorite books. The Peach Keeper. I love Jill Shalvis. I hate being asked this because I can't think, all the names go out of my head and I'll think of all the people I'll offend. I do read quite widely, so I don't necessarily, it does just depend on the mood. Depends on the mood and what I feel like reading.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, do you go outside of the romance genre? Do you like to read all different types of things?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah, because sometimes I want to know why people are turning the pages in Harlan Coben. And actually, I don't read horror. I don't read anything that's going to keep me awake at night because I'm a real wuss.
I can understand that, absolutely.
Yeah, but no, I do read different things. Yeah, I do, and biographies and yeah, I do. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, Bren wants to know if readers could take away one thing from First Time and Forever. What do you think that is? What's the overall message?
Courage. I think it's about, being courageous, live courageously, do the thing that scares you, like Emily.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is. Do the thing that scares you. I think if you live life very safely, you might be missing out on an awful lot of fantastic opportunities, fun opportunities. And, if it turns out that things get scary, you'll find a way through it. Human beings are very strong, like Eleanor Roosevelt's tea bag.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of tea, Billy wants to know, do you drink tea when you write? And they said, I love PG tips.
I'm British. I drink tea. Yeah. Actually, I drink coffee in the morning, and then I do drink tea.
Me too.
Yes, I do. Of course. Yum.
Yep. I'm a coffee morning drinker, and then tea at night. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Are there any other kind of things you do to get kind of in the mindset to write? Any other rituals or just being in your garden? Is there anything else that you do that kind of like centers you?
Yeah, well, just obviously my garden office now is where I write. So that in itself is really a ritual because there's no internet and, it really is just a place to work. And it's set up with my everything around me that I need.
Yeah.
So that sometimes I use scented candles. If I'm having to write a Christmas book in March, then yes, I do use things to get me in the Christmas spirit, because obviously you're not feeling terribly Christmassy by March. Other people are booking their summer holidays, and I'm still singing Rudolph.
So you're a big.
Yeah, then I might use scented.
Yeah. So are you a big Christmas person? Is that like your favorite holiday? Would you say?
I do like Christmas, although generally I don't like it to extend into March in anything other than my books.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always write Christmas stories. So depending on the story, I'm right at the end of it now, but I'm still having to feel Christmassy in March. So then I do use props, and I will use scented candles, and yeah, I've even got a little Christmas tree
that's so cute.
on my desk.
So what are some things that they do in the UK for Christmas that they wouldn't do here? I know a few things, but I bet some of our viewers don't know, and I find it interesting.
Well, we have Christmas pudding. You don't have Christmas pudding, do you?
No.
I don't think Christmas pudding is an American thing. Okay, so that's like a really dense fruit cake thing. And the tradition is that you pour brandy over it and set fire to it.
Ooh.
Yeah, I would never do that because I'm very accident prone and I would burn the house down. But that's kind of tradition. But it's very lovely. It's very lovely Christmas pudding. So I know that we have that. What else do we do that you don't do? I don't think we decorate our houses. I mean, I don't think we use as many lights generally as you do, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Obviously,
They're very.
Generally, I don't think.
They're annoying to untangle. So I'm not a big fan, but yeah. And we're just a big cookie. We love cookie swaps for the holidays. Cookies.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, we don't do that. I'm always happy to for anybody to bring me cookies anytime.
If you see her at the writers' conference, bring her cookies.
Yeah,
she would love it.
Cookies, yes, please.
So we have one last question. We're running out of time, unfortunately. But what's coming up next for you? What are you working on next that you can let everybody know about? Well,
I'm finishing the third Puffin Island. Really, that's what I'm doing, and then HQN and I having a big chat about what's next, which is very exciting.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Awesome.
A few ideas, but nothing confirmed yet.
Oh, excellent. Well, we can't wait to see.
Yeah, at the moment I'm still puffing.
Yeah.
And I'm still puffing Island in a couple of weeks.
And we love it, and we just love First Time and Forever, and we can't wait to see the rest of the series. And it was so wonderful to have you here today. And I just want to remind everyone that we have the giveaway bag that we're doing of your favorite things. So please stop by BookTrib after the chat and enter to win. And thank you everyone for joining us. It was great to talk to you.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.